Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jenna Lynn and I'm very glad to have you here. So today is going to be another Dollar Tree DIY or just a DIY project in general. I've been doing a lot of them recently and I'm kind of on a roll, and I have many more ideas coming up soon. So hopefully you guys will stick around to check them out too. So you make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and the little notification bell so you are notified when I do upload them videos. But for this one today is as you can tell by the title, a pumpkin like topiary. So this one I didn't have a whole lot of inspiration for. I know they probably sell them at the stores. I haven't really seen any myself, but I know they can be pretty pricey, just topiaries in general. And this one right here was so inexpensive, and I tried to make it very inexpensive so you can recreate this yourself. And you should be able to find most of, or if not all of, these supplies at your local Dollar Tree. That's pretty much where I got on mine from. I wanted to make sure I could make it very affordable, and for me I just used things laying around my house. So make sure you definitely check your house because you might have things around there that you can use and save a little bit of money as well. So that's what I ended up doing, and overall this project only cost me $3 to make, and I love the way that it turned out. You can kind of see it right here in the background. This is it. And I just think it's super cute. I'm not 100% sure where I want to keep it right now. I just have it on my desk in my office because it's the only fall decor I have in here right now. But I love it, and it just goes in my decor this year, which is the buffalo check, which I know is super in right now. But yeah, I want to see your recreation. So if you decide to recreate this or have your own inspiration, I would definitely love to see them. So if you're not following me on Instagram, I always have that link down below. Go ahead and go on over there after this video and follow me and let me see your pictures if you decide to recreate these, because I would again love to see them. But I don't want to make this intro too long like normal. I try to make them as short as possible and just get to the point. So if you guys want to see how I made my pumpkin topiary, then just keep on watching. So to start off with the list of supplies that you're going to need to make this, you need 3 foam Dollar Tree pumpkins, a base of some sort. I just have this old kind of candle vase laying around my house, so I'm just going to be using that. But you want something that your pumpkin's going to kind of fit around and it's not going to be too bulky. And then you're going to need some kind of paint. So I, at this point, didn't know what kind of paint to use. I wanted to try both for you to really let you know my recommendations. So I had some Rust-Oleum chalk paint, and of course you're going to need a paint stick if you're going to use that, or you can use the acrylic paints, which you can find these at the Dollar Tree, and if not, Walmart sells them for anywhere from 50 to 70 cents a piece. I'm not 100% sure. You're going to need a glue gun, glue sticks, some kind of adhesive glue, which I got that from the Dollar Tree, but if you have E6000, that will work as well. The sponge applicator brushes. If you're going to be using chalk paint, you're going to need a chalk brush, and then some kind of detailed art brushes to paint the stripes, which I'll show you later on. You're going to need scissors, and then whatever kind of ribbon you're going to want to use on the top. And then since I'm using kind of a clear vase, I want to fill mine with moss, so I had some laying around I'm going to fill. So we're going to start off by just removing the tops of the pumpkins, like the stems, on only 2 of the pumpkins. Well, we're going to remove all 3, but 2 of them you will not need because you'll be stacking them, so just discard them and keep 1 of them, which we will then paint. So that's what I'm showing you here. You're just going to set it aside because we'll paint it later on. And we're going to start off right now. I'm using the acrylic paint. So I'm going to go ahead and paint one of my pumpkins with the acrylic paint, and I'm going to give it 1 coat. And I ended up deciding to paint 2 of my pumpkins with the acrylic paint because they turned out the same. The acrylic paint and chalk paint ended up painting them the same. I would say the chalk paint one did go on a little thicker, and the drying times are a little different. So the chalk paint is about 30 minutes wait time between each. I think I waited about 15. And the acrylic says an hour, but it wasn't much different. It ended up only being about 20 minutes for the acrylic paint to dry since the coat was so thin. So that paint is obviously much cheaper, so I went ahead and just stuck with the acrylic paint. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to paint 1 coat on all of my pumpkins, and I will show you in the next clip, it will slide over in just a second, that I am using the chalk paint, and you can tell they honestly just apply the same. So when painting your pumpkins, you don't have to paint the entire thing. On 2 of them, you just have to paint the sides and just a little bit down the bottom and a little bit up the top, just so when you stack it you can no longer see the orange, but you do not have to paint the entire thing. Only on the very top pumpkin will you have to paint the whole top, because of course you're going to see that. So now that you have all your pumpkins coated in at least one coat of paint, while they sit and dry, I'm going to move on and work on some other projects on it. And right now I'm just painting the stem of my top pumpkin, and I'm painting mine black because I'm going with a black and white theme again to match my buffalo check ribbon. So again, it just depends on whatever color ribbon. Definitely play around with it and make it the colors that you want to go with your decor. So I'm just going ahead and paint the stem right now, and then I will show you my next step. So now I'm just going to show you how to make a quick, just like fluffy bow. This is the same bow that I made for my ribbon for my wreath. So if you've not seen my DIY fall wreath, I will definitely link it up in the cards above, and it's always linked in the description box and at the end of the video, so if you want to go check that out. But I did not show how to make the ribbon in that video, so I figured real quick I would just show you guys how I make it. It just depends on the size bow that you want, so I really just eyeballed it, and you're going to double it over. Unless you want to, of course, use two different ribbons, that definitely turns out great as well. You just want to lay them on top of each other of the same length, and I'm just folding them over top of each other until I kind of get the size that I want. I end up only folding mine over 3 times. It made the perfect size bow for these little pumpkins. So after you do that, just cut the ends for your tails. Make sure you leave enough room for your tails so you have a little bit hanging down your pumpkin. And once you do that, you just want to tie it off. You can use, of course, floor wire, floor tape, or even those little pipe cleaners, but I didn't have anything on hand, so I end up using a ponytail holder, which again, just use things around your house and be creative. So I just used a ponytail holder to hold mine, and it actually worked out great. So I just went ahead and used that, and then you're just going to pull your bows apart. So each strip that you have, you're just going to take them and pull them out a little bit and fluff them up to really give the shape of the bow. And now to get the cute little, like, I don't know if they call them dovetails, but the little cutouts at the bottom of your bow, just go ahead and fold it over in half, and you want to cut from the side that is folded over towards the open side at an angle, and that's really it. You just cut at an angle, and when you open them up, it gives that little V shape at the end, and it just adds a little bit of something extra to your bows. And now, since I decided to use moss to fill my base, I'm just gonna go ahead and fluff that up, and then I'm pulling it out just a little bit to hang over the edge, so when I set my pumpkin on it, you won't have such like a harsh line. And I do have a little bit of a gap, obviously, from the shape of the pumpkin, so I'm just using that to kind of fill it and make it a little bit more like a topiary. Now, I did think about taking some moss, and you can layer it in between your pumpkin, so go pumpkin and then put some moss around the base on top of that in between two, and then another pumpkin, and then put moss around that. That makes it look a little bit more like a topiary as well, and I think that would turn out cute. I just did not have enough moss on hand, so again, just play around with it and make it how you want it. So now that you got everything else done, your pumpkin should be about dry, or at least dry enough to paint your second coat. So I will go ahead and just paint your second coat. For me, 2 coats worked out great, either with chalk paint or acrylic. Again, they turned out pretty much identical. You can't even tell the difference between the two. And as long as you put it on a little bit heavy and brush it out, and don't brush too hard or make it too thin so you don't get streak marks, it turned out great. Now, if you don't want any orange at all to show through, then definitely probably apply a 3rd coat, but it really just depends on how yours turns out. For mine, I can see a tiny bit of tint of orange, but it doesn't bother me. But if you want it completely covered, I would wait again another probably 20 minutes for that coat to dry, and then go ahead and apply a 3rd coat to your pumpkins.
You got me singing. You look like a guy who could treat me right. Boy, take a chance, will you let me ride? I could be the best thing in your life. Maybe let's take a drive, take a drive. Way, oh, way, oh.
So now once all your pumpkins are dry and you have all your coats on, we're gonna go ahead and start gluing them together. So first take your super glue or adhesive of some sort, or E6000, whatever you have. Go ahead and put that a little bit around the top of your pumpkin, and then add some hot glue. The hot glue, just make sure it adheres right away so it doesn't fall apart, but the super glue lets it stay long term and you don't have to worry about it ever falling apart on you. So go ahead and just glue each one and just keep stacking them on top of each other until you're finished completing that. And now go ahead and grab your stem. Now I did have a toothpick, well they come with toothpick to hold them on and they're glued. So I went ahead and left the toothpick on the top pumpkin, and I did just add a little bit of adhesive and a little bit of super glue, and I just went ahead and stuck it back on the toothpick on the glue and just pushed down until it dried. And that's it for gluing your pumpkins together. When it comes to the base, again, this just depends on what kind of base you are using, but mine, since I added the moss, I really kind of wanted to stay in place. I didn't want to have to worry about it kind of falling out, so I just added super glue and hot glue around the rim to hold the moss, and also to glue my pumpkins to my base so I don't have to worry about the pumpkins falling over or falling off my base. And now to add some more details to my pumpkins, I am just mixing my white and black acrylic paint and making a gray color. And I'm just taking those detail brushes I showed you earlier in the video and mixing that together. But I decided the one I was mixing it with was just too thick, so I would recommend getting like a thin kind of pencil brush and painting the stripes on that way so you get a thinner line. I did notice going through, like, again, if you like this dark gray color, you can definitely leave it that way, but for me, I wanted it a little bit more subtle, so I just went through and decided only to paint 2 of the pumpkins instead of doing all 3 that way. Again, if you want to paint all 3, definitely do it. Again, it's just preference, but I went ahead and just painted the top and the bottom with the gray stripes, and then I went ahead and went over it with just the plain white acrylic paint on a fan brush, which I will show you. And I just take that little fan brush I have with the white acrylic paint, and I just kind of lightly brush over the gray lines to make it a little bit more subtle. So now for the finishing product, you just have to apply your bow to the top. So just take whatever adhesive glue you got and a little bit of the hot glue and just put it around your stem and whatever side of the pumpkin you're putting your bow on, and then just attach your bow and push it down to where you want it to lay and let it dry. So this is the finished product. I am so happy with the way that it turned out. I think it's so cute, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this DIY project and hope you get inspiration to create your own. And I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye! If you all like DIYs and you want to see more videos like this, definitely check the videos out above. I have my DIY fall wreath on the left and my DIY Dollar Tree lantern on the right. And if you haven't and you want to join the family, I definitely appreciate it. Go ahead and hit the icon in the middle and hit subscribe.